Samson Cheruga, he's a senator for Nandi County. The conversation was on the boundaries of Senate's oversight role. The interview was done earlier. Let's listen in.
When it is not Ababu Namwamba,
yes,
it is Kipchumba Murkomen.
Yes.
What's up?
Nothing much. We are doing our oversight role as it should be. You know, in as much as we are in the ruling political party, sometimes we have to look out for each other, and what we are just doing is to look out for each other. You have the, you know, the reason some of us are hard on some of these fellows relating their duty is the president is working hard, going around the world, sleeping on the plane to try and look for friends and partners to get more resources.
Not on the job.
Of course, on the not sleeping, but on the way, trying to look for friends, for resources. When he has really fought others through international IMF, others through friendship and foreign direct investment that has raked in around 2 trillion FDIs into the country, then somebody somewhere is sleeping on the job, and we know where we are as a country. The economy is not looking as impressive as it should have been. Kenyans are struggling and many other challenges. So when you get somebody who has been given an assignment sleeping on the job, then it is our business as brothers to look at each other for. And some of those cabinet secretaries have been cantankerous. Of course, for example, like Murkomen, he came to a funeral in my county and started insulting me and calling me a kilikidogo. So I found it, that is violation of Chapter 6 and leadership and integrity, because as a leader, you must carry yourself with certain dignity. And I had only raised 2 issues. One was, why was our tarmac roads in Nandi taking long? As we talk now, there are so many, I don't want to call it landslide, but our roads are totally impassable. And these are tarmac roads that had been approved from 2013, yet they are yet to be tarmac. So that is one question I raised. And number 2 was building up with local contractors. In fact, as we talk, I propose a bill which is a legislative proposal of amending Public Procurement and Disposal Act, where I'm proposing that 2 billion shillings and below should be given to local contractors, 200 million to youth special interest groups, and of course, if you have ownership or co-ownership of foreign companies, at least 50% should belong to the local contractor. So those were the only 2 issues. But when he stood up, he just decided to demean, belittle me, and insult me. And of course, from where I come from, the speed at which you want to attack some of us will make it times 2, so that the impact is felt greatly. And that is why, you know, you as cabinet ministers, shows you the power has entered into the head. And I think there is a French revolutionarist who said absolute power corrupts absolutely. So those are some, and you know, as a leader, in as much as we are a new year in government, we have to raise, that is why I'm elected, to speak on behalf of the great people of Nandi and Kenyans. It does not mean that we become silent when we need to raise our issues, because at that time in time, 1 year before, he came to a place called Mosoriat, where I come from, and he had promised that within 3 weeks they should be contracted in some of the roads in Masob, in Aldai, in Chesumei, in Tindred, virtually across Nandi County. But that, then, like 10 months later, the contractors had not responded. And when he rose up, instead of responding, telling us, when will the contractors report, how are we going to? Because my brothers, Latif, and my sister here, and Muga, the neighbor, the good neighbor, which we are working around sugar reforms with, is... Naturally, he should have said, the contractors are reporting this way, Mheshimiwa, we have agreed this way. But when you start, and you know I'm elected by the people, and they say the voice of the people is the voice of God. So it's like you are being blasphemous against God Almighty by attacking Cherargei, who is a God chosen by the people. So, and those are some of the issues you saw here in JKI, an international airport leaking, and you want to form a commission or a committee to look into the leaking rooms. What happens now with the roads that are being washed away in Marsabit, in Mandera, in Wajir, in Nandi, here in Nairobi? Even this Mombasa Road, a contractor was given, is not properly marked. When you drive through the night, it's chaos. There are floods all over, because the drainage and the contractor that was given to do lower deck has not done the job that it should be. I can see even accessing, I can see they are now trying, even accessing your offices here. There is a big ditch that they are working on. But these are some of the things that we need to fix. You don't need somebody to prompt you. You know, if he was busy working within his ministry, he would not have time to come and demean and belittle some of us, because it means you are busy in the office doing what he should be. And then you remember when the president was in Bomet, I told the president that as you struggle to get the resources, allow us to assist and look out for some of the CSS who are sleeping on the job. And the president does not have a problem. And that is why he was instrumental in amending the standing orders. When we went to parliamentary group, the president said, let us amend the standing orders of the National Assembly and the Senate to ensure cabinet secretaries come before the floor of the houses to answer some of those questions. And one of the issues will be even today in the order paper question is about upgrading of airstrips, including where we have a very interesting airstrip in Kericho County called Kerenga. Have you seen an airstrip where the planes get stuck in the mud and people wear gumboots to board? There is one in Kakamega, another airstrips. Even when you go to Kisumu International Airport, I had information that even sewerage system is not functional in Kisumu International Airport. So the questions that are coming is the president imagine that it's good for these cabinet secretaries to come and answer to the representatives of the people. Because we are representing the people, they cannot come and answer to City Muga or your people in Ahero or Moroni. Why floods is sweeping that area? We are your senator or me myself as a good neighbor would ask what is the interventions that are in place. Even the way the deputy president was also asking yesterday in Mombasa about governors who have been given over 10 billion, but they are here to show what they are doing towards alleviating the suffering of floods in the country.
Senator, I have to ask, the issues that you raise are quite some, and they go countrywide.
Yes.
And obviously, we talk about, the boundaries of oversight, and it's possible that there could be no boundaries, that oversight then allows you to go far and wide and say, so long as there's something that's supposed to be done, there will be oversight. And this house is tasked with the responsibility of that for the nation. My question is, the things that you complain about in terms of having not been done or where attention should be put are things that Kenyans are crying about every single day.
Agreed.
Would you speak with such vehemence if this little, what should I call it, tiff then did not happen between yourself and this particular CS? Would you then, with as much vigor and vim as you do now, be complaining about these issues that are not being worked on around the country?
No, but it's not even about the thief, because there was no thief before. Because if you realize, and I wish, and I know, of course, you have journalists across the country, if they can do translation, I raise things that affect people directly. I didn't attack him at personal level or question why he's wearing an expensive watch, or as he has been the case, or wearing expensive shoes that they are flouting in the social media. If I had raised that, I didn't question, because I can still request when you'll get time, and I'm always available to you guys 24/7. You will get a very good Nandi who can translate and tell you what I really point by point. And you guys, you are a prolific journalist and you understand this. So I didn't even raise about the expensive shoes that he wears and throws in social media or watches. But I raised on particular, which I would have raised if I was in Kiambu. Because as we talk, we have good, we have milk now, we have maize, we have harvesting, we have vegetables. We want to take it to Kisumu. Our neighbor is our biggest market, but you can't move those things from a place called Kamonjeria all the way to Kopere
because
into
the roads are bad.
Because they're pathetic. You can't move from somewhere in Tulwa Girls all the way to Singlet to Eldoret to take our milk. You can't move things, and that I was just raising. It was not even about personal issues, because I was just raising. And then number two, we want to empower local contractors. We cannot go to China, borrow billions and billions of shillings, come put it in our banks here in Nairobi, CBK, then bring the same Chinese. Of course, I am not against Chinese. Give them the same contracts, they take them the same money, then we come to debt. I thought it is better to empower local contractors, which are majorly special interest group, give them financial muscle and the capacity, so that we are able to build our own capacity and in terms of the economy. And those were just
those are the issues.
But I want to assure you, finally, so that I tie up, I don't forget, it's not about tea from my sister here, because I raised the similar issues with Ababu Namwamba. And it is not that he does, I don't think he has even my phone number. I don't have his phone number. But what I was looking within the sports industry should have been fixed. And I'm happy that it received the attention of the president. We have had a discussion. And there are some of these things that we are trying to do to ensure we reform the sports sector. And I'm happy you gave me a forum last time. You can see there are at least some changes, although it is not as it should have been expected, but we hope to push it more and maybe give legislative or policy intervention. So I can assure you, my sister, that going into the future, some of us will always speak our mind, but we'll always speak our mind and call out where we think it should be called out for the benefit of all Kenyans. Because the president also needs people who will assist him in calling out some of these individuals who have power has gone to their heads.
And this calling out, how effective can it be? Because this is the thing.
Yes.
One would hope that the noise is, well, oh, you know, I hope you're not doing it and you're not doing the other.
Yes.
But we then judge the effectiveness of these call-outs when we actually start to see things being done
Correct.
as a result of it.
Yes, yes.
So how much of it then would be necessary? And do you then see the application of it as a result of the calling out or the oversight role that Senate will actually be playing? If we remove the politics, because you cannot deny that it is there, if we remove the characters that play in this drama, again, we cannot deny that it is there. The thing that you talk about, which lies there front and center, is that these things ought to be done. And how can we be sure that the little drama that we see then will result in these things being done?
No, the work of oversight, let me not call it a calling out. In fact, is the president, if you have heard the president saying before that if you like a system, you critique positively to ensure you bring the best outcome. Because a functionality of a system should have at least an oversight. The role of the oversight under Article 96 and even the Constitution board of the National Assembly is cross-cutting. And therefore, when we call out, and it is very effective, because you remember when we call out some CSs as Senate, and you saw Senate leadership, they were cabinet reshuffle. For example, CS of trade was moved to public service for effectiveness. In fact, when I came here and we were discussing about sports reforms, it reached a time now that the gold medalist is given 3 million, is it silver 2 million, bronze 1 million. Now they are giving house, now they are even giving attention when they are coming and ensuring that they are comfortable wherever they are. Although I know we have not reached, in fact, in terms of elections in Sports Federation. So you can see it has been effective. On this one on roads, it must be, because we have allocated the budget. And that is why we really want to, and in our question time today in the Senate, and I know you will watch hopefully, these are some of the critical issues that even as floods happen and sweep away the roads, what are the interventions that the ministry has put in place? And that is why we are saying, as a cabinet minister, focus on your core business. And that is why the genius of the Constitution was that you can either be a CS or a politician. You can't be both. You can't have your cake and eat it. So, and in fact, what I've been emphasizing, if you have monitored, even when we were in the president in Bomet and even in Eldoret when he came for prayers, has been the emphasis that let the people who are supposed to work, and let the politicians do their job. But most of the cabinet secretaries, of course, I agree with them, they have political hangovers because they have been politicians like some of us. So sometimes they feel overconfident to comment on political statements, and some of them are into succession politics, into other matters, instead of focusing
on the job at hand.
Because, for example, like CS Lintur yesterday came to Nandi. He came to Eldoret, and Nandi gave us dryers, and that is a CS who does his job. The others have been coming to funerals and Arambes and just trying to say, this is the politics we should do, this is, and you know they are using their offices to pledge loyalty. And that is why some of them have been saying, if you had in the response say, Cherarga has never visited my office. It is because the offices has been turned into pledging loyalty forums.
So let's actually go into that.
Yes.
Have you, in the matter of, we dispense with the Babu Namwamba.
Yes.
Now it's the matter of the roads cabinet secretary.
But we are not yet done with him until he finishes the reforms, especially on upcoming elections of FK.
Sawa.
Yes.
On this current matter of the cabinet secretary for roads, have you raised questions in Parliament formally?
Yes.
Have you reached out to his office directly and said, we have these issues, for example, in my county that need addressing. I'd like a report on how far we are on this, and the other. Before you went on to Twitter and public saying that Kipchumba Murkomen needs to answer?
In fact, I think I will try and get to the statement I made earlier this year on March on the state of roads. And I hope I'll be able to send you via WhatsApp when I get to my office. I had requested the state of roads in Nandi in March. when we met, we agreed. I've never met him personally, but we sat, and when the budget committee told us all roads that at stall, they will prioritize the finalizing of raising to bitumen standards, number one, which we did that. Number two, you remember he was to appear last week, but he became late because he was somewhere in Mombasa and he didn't make it. In fact, I am on record. If you check the answer of the Senate, I raised an issue that were we waiting for him? Because I wanted to raise supplementary questions, especially on the issue of delays toll roads in Nandi, the issue of Karenga.
He didn't make it on time.
He didn't come.
I was with him in Mombasa. The deputy president was there.
So you are around.
Took a bit long. I can attest that they left. The engineers
so you have been
meeting.
In corridors of power.
The engineers meeting a bit late.
Yeah, a bit late. So we were waiting because he was supposed to appear at 11, and some of us had prepared questions on the stall roads in Nandi, and also Kerengaya strip in Kericho. Virtually a number of roads that do you think these roads that are being washed away by El Nino?
So you've asked
it be
these
the substandard?
questions.
Yes.
Have you written to him?
Why would I write to him?
As a representative of the people of Nandi County.
No,
have you written to the minister in charge of roads saying these are matters that have come out of my constituents, and I'd like an answer, or you to tell me how far we're going?
The point is, I have used parliament because it is more formal and it has a record answer. You know, writing to somebody looks like love letters, because in future, how can you do reference to them? So I think the formal way is I've requested that statement through the floor of the House. He has appeared, in fact, not only on Nandi roads, I've even requested on this lower deck of Mombasa Road, because I believe a substandard work was done. There is always flooding, there is no proper marking, and even the person who did expressway did not do the maintenance. And that is why we have been raising some of the. Even I raised the issue of Kenya Airways performance, and I think it is on record. We tried even forming an ad hoc to investigate the issue of Kenya Airways. So all these issues are captured in the answer. I've tried my best to use the channels that are legally, constitutionally recognized, so that there is accountability. So that in future, Latif, when you go to Senate and say, I want to check at the Senate answer, what did Cherargei say about Nandi roads that are not passable? What did he say about standards of airports? What did he say about leaking roofs? You know, these are, but if I was to SMS him and ask him, why is JKI leaking? Who will give the accountability of such? And I think I agree with you that the oversight role, we should use the mechanisms of the Constitution, because we are the people. This is our forum and our Constitution, that we take accountability at the end of the day. So I think what we are trying to do is that let people do their job. If you are a cabinet minister, do your job. If you are a senator, if by the way, if everybody did their job the way it should be, I'm telling you, this country, because like here in Spice FM, at least in the situation, you try and educate Kenyans, sensitize, bring some of us on board, so that Kenyans can understand why we are having certain perspectives regarding the national issues, and we are able to pull in the same direction. And I think that is what is important at the end of the day, because the president is very keen in terms of implementation of the plan. He is not very keen on people discussing succession politics or realigning politically, or using your offices to pledge loyalty, or to say Cherargei does not like me, he doesn't support me politically. Because at the moment, from where I come from, even in our region, the issue of kingpin. The kingpin comes, the current kingpin is the president of the Republic of Kenya, of the country. And even if he retires in 2032, I know Atuali once say he's too young to retire about Uhuru. William Ruto will be too young to retire. He will chart the way forward
for the next king
of the course of the next course of the Kalenjin nation. But some of the CSs have been sitting and planning for succession instead of fixing our roads, and that is why some of us, out of love, because we don't want them to engage in what we call self-destructing mode.
So this
there are machines where you put self-destruction mode. We tell them, no, my brother, don't go to that direction. Just chill up, hold up, relax, do your job. The future will take care of itself, and it will be seen.
So it's all about oversight. 29 minutes to 9.
Yes.
Senator Samson Cherargei from Nandi County is our guest this morning, ahead of a sitting in Parliament where cabinet secretaries are expected to appear. The one for sports, the one for roads, and the third one?
National Treasury and Planning.
Oh, that one.
But I don't know whether there are changes, but National Treasury and Planning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those three. Last week, CS Murkomen was scheduled to appear.
Yes.
And he didn't. And you tweeted, Murkomen was scheduled to appear before the Senate today in the morning to answer our question, including leaking roofs at JKIA terminals, but he declined, chickened out, and he written that in capitals, after he realized he didn't have any substantive answers about his ministry to Kenyans. Or maybe he was busy developing other insults. Lol. We'll be back shortly.
I didn't know you guys follow my Twitter.